Hey everyone, so good to see you. I hope you can hear me. Can someone put in the chat just that you can hear me, so I know you can all hear me all right? Everyone, can you hear me? Anyway, since you're here, I'm gonna ask you. I see that Karen is here, and Karen was here on Monday, and she's saying greetings. She's from New York and Poughkeepsie. And can everyone who's here, Anna, hey Stephanie, Sadie, Astrid. Oh, there's so many people from Monday as well. That's so exciting. And great that you can hear me. Perfect. Thank you. It's always nerve-wracking with these technical stuff when you start and you're like, I don't know if they're working. And I was very worried about my internet as well. I don't know, just because 5 minutes before this, it kept going messages like it's low, but everything should be fine. So remind me again where you were from, everyone. I do remember that Karen was from the state side, and I believe that Sadie and Astrid, right? You were from Europe somewhere here as us. Or as me. But yeah. Oh, now I can see my interest going. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so excited. And today's going to be awesome. I hope you enjoyed the first masterclass that we did. I had such a great time with you all. And I love seeing, like, in the chat also, like I remember from last time, you're from so many different places, and how, like, we can be so diverse, or from so many different countries and parts of the world, and we share one interest, and that's why we're here. We share the interest of fashion and wanting to create our own label. So I think that's such an amazing thing. And as I said last time, I'm going to keep one man tonight, so I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. I do love for you to interact in the chat, so please do that. And I'm going to keep an eye on my bullet points so I don't get lost. I have a tendency to just blah, 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 because I get so excited, since this is one of my absolutely favorite topics. I love helping entrepreneurs with the fashion industry. So let me just take a breather, check that we are here. Yeah, okay. Before I go into the admin, I would like you to take a moment and just think about how it would feel the day of your launch. Okay, you have mastered everything we're learning in these 3 masterclasses, and you have gone through your first of many production runs. How would you feel on your launch day? How would you feel, Stephanie? Put it in the chat. Or how about Sadie? I remember Sadie. It was dog wear, I believe. How would you feel, Sadie, if you like when you wake up and it's your launch day, you got your stuff, you're ready to sell. So if you guys put that in the chat, I will also prepare us for the admin. Overjoyed and super proud. And so you should, Stephanie. It's such an amazing feeling to launch your own brand. Oh, and Sadie said, anxious and excited. Yes, at the same time, absolutely. When I launched my brand, I can say there was a lot of nerves involved, but also like that high, super overjoyed feeling. So super great. And that you're here, right, is your first step towards this feeling. So keep remembering this feeling throughout tonight. And once you have become a fashion production master, you're literally on the fastest route you can to launch that successful brand of yours. So do keep remember this throughout today. So let's do the admin. So that my boss me will not be angry with me, right? So what I first want to do is invite you all to our Facebook group. And in our Facebook group, you can interact with each other, get to know each other a bit more. You can talk about what you're trying to do. You can ask questions. We're all there to support each other. I'm in there as well. And I would love to see you in there interacting and telling us, and let's help each other. That's my first admin. Second admin is to tell you about the bonus. So since you're here live, you are gonna get this amazing bonus if you stay till the end. So it's a video recording, a Q&A video recording of all the most common questions that a fashion brand asks themselves. So it's probably questions that you also are thinking about. So this is like such a cool bonus, and I think stay till the end and it will be yours and you can get a lot of your questions answered. So how exciting is that? And now I'm nearly forgetting here. There was another admin thing I wanted to tell you, but can't be that important, can't remember it. But I will also do a quick presentation on myself. Because not everyone who's listening in today might know me. You might be new. You might have signed up to this masterclass even today. But I do know a lot of familiar faces here, so some of you do know me. But I'm Annette Lennerup. I am from Sweden, hence the surname, which is more of a Danish kind of style surname. But that's the story in itself. I'm from the south, but I grew up in the capital of Stockholm. Anyway, enough geography for today. What I wanted to tell you about is, like, obviously my fashion experience and why I'm here teaching you today. So I had my own fashion brand for 5 years, and I have also worked in the fashion industry for the past 20 years. The last 10 of those are very much specialized in helping startups, and it's become a passion of mine to see other brands succeed. And when I started my career, I worked for many larger brands, like many famous UK high street brands. And I've also worked for more boutique brands who are showing at kind of London Fashion Week, and more on the expensive side of the spectrum. And because of that, I've like taken all this knowledge and put it into one and learned from my own mistake by having my own brand. And from there, the passion grew to kind of start Fashion Design Tribe and actually be able to teach all you guys and share my experience and make sure that other brands can grow and succeed and be successful. So that's me, that's my passion, and you're gonna see that I can talk for hours, so better keep at it, right? Keep on my schedule here. But I want to start with a little bit of a recap. If you weren't here on Monday, I do know that a lot of you were, and just gonna keep a quick check on the chat. And Astrid said she got kicked out. I'm glad you're back again, Astrid. And hi, Anne. I am happy you're here. I'm so excited you're here live with me. So great. And yes, and I saw actually Astrid said something about Karen was working as a tailor, which I think is super exciting. So if you have any tailoring questions, connect with Karen in the Facebook group. Oh, and here comes more names. Yeah, Carolina, hi, and hi, Dominic. So good. And Rita is here as well. Rita, also dog wear. Very excited. Looking forward to hearing about your progress. Anyway, so the recap. If you weren't here on Monday, we spoke about the design documents. So taking your vision. So here you're in my studio with my vision board behind me. And a vision board is obviously everything that gives you inspiration for what you want to create. It could be prints, could be like zips, it could be buttons, it could be anything. Like we all have our own story and or our own reasons for doing this. So that's what we spoke about, and we spoke about what a design document is and what's included, and we spoke about patterns and size specifications. So it should be fairly clear if you watched that masterclass what it is. If you didn't, you can go back and watch the replay. It's going to be up for another week, more or less. And then after that, it will be taken down. But if you want to keep the access, you can buy a VIP option, and it's not very expensive. It's $27, and then you get to keep the recordings for a limited time. So that's a great way of being able to come back if you're not at the right place at the moment. I'm gonna take a sip of water before I continue. Sorry, my voice has been going in and out this week. Here's more people. Hi, Anna. So that's what we talked about. And I also explained my own strategy that I use for my design tech packs, because what's important and what I've learned during these 10 years working with different startups is that there's a lot of information we need to pack in to a design tech pack. And this is our main communication with the factory about each piece we design, whether it's garments or a textile product. If you're doing maybe scarves, and the cushion might be fairly simple, or you can reuse the same thing over and over, just change up maybe fabric compositions and things. But I mean, there are other textile products that need more details into them. So it's everything, and we do this for all products we manufacture. I have myself done it for companies we're working with, baby carriers and baby bouncers and those sorts of stuff. So you use it over many types of products, just that you might specify different aspects of it. See, there I go. But yeah, so I talked about my strategies and how I do it to pack in the information in an easy way and get it communicated easily to your manufacturer. And I will just show you a little example just so that you have some reference in your head. But yeah, my tech packs I'm trying to keep my pages down but still get all the information in there. And then we spoke about the size specifications and the patterns. So if you, like I've already said, but I want to say it again, if you learn to master these steps and you become a fashion production master, the next step of launching, it will be easy, you will not feel overwhelmed, and it will be a great success. Okay, so it's your fastest way to get to that, is learning these steps. And you're here with me today, so I know that you're already committed to learning this. So I'm super excited for you. And oops, sorry. And what will we be learning today then? So we're going to go through the next step. Once you understand these concepts that go into the design tech pack, and you're like what you're going to communicate to your factory. So today is more about getting you prepped to contract the factory or contact the factory, both preferably. So now when you have an understanding of this, I have a question for you. Have you thought about how to do this in your fashion business? Are you going to go with the option of creating your own design tech packs? Or are you going to find someone, or have maybe already started sorry, I'm looking at chat. I'm going to answer that. Or have you already started outsourcing? So it's creating it yourself or outsourcing. Karen says we can never hear you using StreamYard. Is anyone else having the same problem as Karen? Because on my side, the microphone is working in StreamYard. Obviously, I can't hear myself through StreamYard because it would all just make a very big noise for you. So if you could comment in the chat. I mean, it's fine for you to watch it on the website, the landing page. You will have the same information. You will still get the bonus. The only thing, you can't access the chat. Let me see the chat now. I'm going to go and see. Carolina wants to do it herself. That's really cool. Sadie will do it herself. She's done it already, but she's not sure she's doing it right. Okay. Okay. And Stephanie says she hears me okay in StreamYard. Okay, that's good to know. And Anne says she would like to outsource at first, but eventually want to know myself. Okay. And Astrid said I might have to outsource as I'm a complete beginner. So this is great. And I think it's really good that you've already thought about this. And today's class is going to help you clarify which way you're going to go and give you the confidence about that. And we're going to give you clarity and unique value that will help you on the journey, which way you go. So I'm really happy with that. And so we're going to, I need to gain focus. Sorry, guys. Because, yeah, we are going to start. I'm like, got too overwhelmed with my own brain here. So if you're going to outsource, that's a really good option. If you're going to do them yourself, you need to just know the basics. So I'm going to talk you through that. And if you stay with me here in the chat, you can ask some questions if they come up. But yeah, let's get into the nitty-gritty. But before we do that, just let you know that just by you being here, whether you outsource or if you want to create them yourself, you're already on your way. And I'm going to show you who. Sorry, now my everything is going. Here, I'm going to show you who this is for, just so you know that you're here today and you're in the right place. So it's here. You're here if you're a fashion brand owner, or if you're having a dream of starting your own brand, or a textile product or fashion brand. It doesn't have to be fashion, right? Like it can be dogs, it can be home interior. It's the same process. And that's important to remember. But if this is you, you're here, you're in the right place. So I am today going to give you a game changer, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to send to your manufacturer and how to master the step before you send it. And I want you to hear this loud and clear. You're allowed to do this and you're allowed to succeed, and you don't have to be a fashion graduate, and you don't have to have prior experience with working with a factory. So let's dive in, and I'm going to get myself back. So when I first started in the fashion industry, I had like a million ideas, and I think a lot of us do. And I wanted to like create this whole collection. I wanted to do like 20 pieces. I wanted to cater for everyone and cater for all. And I didn't do this. Okay, I didn't do 20 pieces. Bear with me. I did a lot though. I did about 12 pieces when I started, and it stretched me. It stretched me because looking back at my tech packs, even though I had already been in the fashion industry a little bit, I can now see where they lack in information. And I hadn't either created the system and strategies that I'm using now for my tech packs. And I also stretched myself thin financially, because since my tech packs weren't perfect, it costs more in sampling. And if you don't get it completely right, there might be more mistakes in production. So what I had hoped, or what I wish more, is that someone would have told me when I started what I'm going to tell you guys. So listen up. It's better when you start to concentrate on your core value of your brand, and a core piece, a few pieces. Get them right. Get this information right. and start small. That's going to be your biggest win, okay? That's what I can give to you as an advice before you get started, which I wish I would have had. And I had to kind of learn myself then to refine this. And if I would have known, I would have spared myself frustration. I would have spared myself a lot of disappointment. But I did sell in about 50 boutiques when I did master this, and I did learn from my mistakes. So it's possible. It's possible for you. It was possible for me. It's possible for you, okay? But do think about learning the process well, and think about your core offering and your customer. But do you feel like, do you hear what I'm saying? Do you also have a lot of ideas? Do you also feel like, wow, I want to do so much? Like, I have so many great ideas, and I have so much I want to create. How many of you feel like that? Or how many of you feel like, okay, I am hearing you, Annette. I'm going to narrow down. Put it in the chat. I'd love to hear what you're saying about this. See what you say. And I love looking back at what you said before as well. Dominique also wants to do her tech pack. So there's a lot of you who want to do your own tech packs. That's very interesting. Oh, Carolina says, million of ideas. Yep. That's us. That's us creatives. I'd love to hear if any one of you have managed to narrow down your ideas. Is there anyone that have focused on just a few, or planning to focus on just a few? Yeah, I have lots of ideas. That says Anna too. Yeah, I feel you, I see you, and I understand you. So focus on this and learn how you're going to create these design tech pack, or how you're going to outsource them. And I promise you that you're only one production run away from launching, okay? So that's good that you're here today, so we can learn that. But now, let's get in to understanding what we need. Yes, and you can ask me questions before I get into preparing the documents. I'll wait for Anne's question. And take a sip of water again. And yeah, if anyone else has any questions about just this of narrowing down and what we talked about now, feel free to pop it in the chat, especially now in this moment when we're talking about it. There will be a tiny bit of Q&A at the end as well. So if your question pops up during me talking, feel free to put it in the chat at the end. I'm gonna keep talking and see if Anne gets her question in there. If I forget about answering it, Anne, remind me at the end in the Q&A section. Okay. So we've touched and talked about what's to include in these design tech packs. And if you haven't watched the masterclass, go back and do it so that you feel prepared, because this is kind of a follow-on from what we learned. And so what do you need, like, to take the next step, either for you as your brand and your own designer, or for outsourcing? Well, the first step is obviously your vision board, or maybe even a mood board. If you're designing for yourself, maybe you narrow down all of this vision into different pieces and different design styles, whether it's sketches and photographic ideas. And then you will need the tech packs. And in the tech packs, obviously, like what we touched on before, you need to have all your fabric choices, your construction details, and all the information that will go in to your garment. I mean, it's a very bad example because it's black, but it's a top from when I had my brand. But if you want, for example, a white sleeve, then that needs to be added. And what you have at the hem and finishing there. This is a twin needle stitch, so then that should be in, but you probably can't see it because it's black. But anything, and if you have buttons, like everything, all the details should go in your design tech pack, and that's really important. So what you can do as well to create your own and to learn is to study garments. So look in your own wardrobe, look at what you're wearing now, but don't only look at it from the outside, look at it from the inside, okay? And obviously the next step would be then size specification, which shows how your garment is going to fit, and the different grading, which means the different sizes and how they grow and become smaller. And that's an important one. If you're a tailor, maybe ask Karen, maybe she's making her own patterns. So if you have patterns, you can supply that. In the industry, as the standard nowadays, people don't as often send patterns as maybe if you go back 30, 40 years. And you need this. So if you're new, it might sound a bit intimidating, but trust me, you can get this into place and you can master it, and you are on your way by just being here and getting to understand it. You will be ready to start your sampling process. One of my clients, Claudia, she was really overwhelmed after, and it wasn't at this stage, right? It was after she received her first sample. And the reason why she was overwhelmed was because she found her sample being not at all what she was expecting. It didn't look that good. It didn't look like her vision. And she was not sure why this had happened. So we worked through her design tech pack, and with some tweaks and some feedback, Claudia managed to change this, and the next sample came back so much better, nearly perfect. So this is to show you how understanding these documents, how important it is to master this. And the big shift in this was Claudia feeling like overwhelmed and stressed and not really knowing what she was doing, into just with some tweaks and with understanding the process and the details and how to communicate correctly, she could feel confident, and she just felt like everything was clear and she could run her business into success. So this is why you're here today. And let me just, I see that there's a lot of things going in the chat. I'm just going to have a quick look. And Dominic is asking where she can find the replay. It is on the Masterclass website, on the landing page. You should have received emails with the link. If you're watching from StreamYard, you see you're in the app, which you are because you're in the chat, but you can also watch it from the live replays or the live place. I will put the link. I can put the link in the chat at the end. So if you don't have it in an email, you get access to it. But I'll do that at the end, okay? And let me see. Anne had a question. When you are creating a capsule range of 5 pieces, does it also include color correlations? I think this depends on you and your brand. From a factory standpoint, if you go for minimum orders, the minimum orders are usually counted on style, color. So if you're ordering this dress in blue, that would be having to meet your minimums. And then if you wanted it in red, it would also have to meet your minimums. This is something that you can negotiate with your manufacturer about, since they're cutting the same shape. But in general, it is in the factory counted as, not as a separate style, but as a separate color option. So you need to order the same quantity again. So definitely something to know and consider when you're planning out your range. What is sometimes good, and I'm going to give you a little tip here, is that if, say, you're reusing the same fabric and color in 2 styles, maybe you can negotiate a little bit there, so that if it's minimums to go lower that you're after. But otherwise, I would say like your range is the different designs. Then color options are exactly that, options of color for one piece in your range. And that brings me back to this: if you should hire a designer or create yourself. So if you're going to go the DIY route, but you're not a designer, and the guys, you who said you were going to do it yourself, put in the chat if you are familiar, and if you're a newbie, just so we know, would be great. But yeah, if you aren't a designer but you want to do this yourself, so what's the important thing? So the important thing is obviously to understand the basics, which we learned about in Monday's masterclass. So go back to that. And you also need to, I would say, master some kind of computer program so that you can draw it out neatly. You could, I mean, in the good old days, we did this by hand and sent it by fax. So you could still obviously draw by hand, but what you have to realize, and what you remember from Monday, is that the most important page is your technical drawing. So you can't just send a lovely fashion sketch. It has to show how the pattern pieces come together. Hence, you need to be pretty good at putting that together. There are templates you can buy for shapes out on the market, but if you buy these out on the market, they're usually very basic shapes, so they might not align with the ideas you have in your head, but otherwise you could buy shapes and you can tweak them, but you still need to have the knowledge of how to do that. And another thing I would say that you need some kind of basic knowledge of is to know a little bit maybe about sewing or pattern cutting. I mean, it doesn't have to be maybe super advanced. You don't have to be a tailor like Karen, so, or you can go ask Karen advice, go in the Facebook group. But you need to have some kind of idea of how things come together and what different stitch types are called, and yeah, where they were used, because this is what goes in to this page, the most important page. So if you're a newbie, you will have some studying to do if you're going to do it yourself. But to bring your vision to life, we do have the 2 options, right? Time or money. Like, so you can either, if you have a lot of time, you can learn and you can do it yourself. If you feel you don't have the time because you want to launch faster, outsourcing might be a good investment. But just make sure that if you're doing it yourself, that you understand what it is you are trying to communicate. And it's not about being perfect. It's about taking action. It's about moving forward. We're moving forward towards finding a manufacturer and doing our sampling. So just by being here and listening to this, if you're doing it yourself, take on board what I said and make sure that you figure out those bits that are missing in your journey. It's going to be different from depending on where you're at and what your background is. And then, okay, if you decide that you're not going to do them yourself, what do you think is important then? What do you need in terms of documents or ideas to communicate with the designer? Put it in the chat if you have any ideas of what you need. Like, what is important when you hire a designer? It'd be good to hear what you guys think. I will start a bit, but I will say, let's see, here we go. How long does it take to finish a sample? I'll get to that later. But yeah, so what you need if you're going to hire a designer is obviously you need to communicate. And what you need to communicate is your vision. So also think that this might actually be quite a good idea. Just take a photograph of your vision. Think that a designer is often a visual person. So if you can communicate in images, is great. You know, they say an image says more than 1,000 words. For a designer, usually that's the case. But yeah, you need that. And anything that you can clarify for your designer. You also need to know more about your customer. How many people have done the work on their customer? Put yes in the chat if you've done deep work on your customer, because the customer is key. And you really need to be able to communicate this to someone who you're going to work with. And why do you think it's important for a designer to know and understand your customer? To know your vision, answers, yes. And why? Like, what will they? Why would this help them? See what you say. It will help them to definitely to know your vision if they understand your customer. Carolina says she studied her target group. That's good. That's really good, because you need to, if you're going to outsource, you need to really be able to tell your designer this. And if your designer doesn't ask, then that is maybe a warning sign that it's not the designer for you. And Sadie thinks she's done a bit of research as the consumer is a dog and about the dog owner. Yeah, very good, Sadie. I think also looking at the owner. So I would say for a dog, same for a child. If you're doing kids wear, who is the buyer? So also think who's the buyer. It needs to be obviously something that fits well and looks good on the child or the dog, but the one who buys it won't be the child and it won't be the dog. So you need to reach that customer. Yes, so once you have that, so you need to tell your designer about your customer. That's super, super important. And show them some visual things. The more visual things, the easier it's going to be to understand. And Anne says, understand their lifestyle. Yes, understand your customer's lifestyle. And then you need to look for a designer. So you can look for a designer in many places. There's Google's, there's freelance networks, there's Instagram. I mean, there are designers out there. But how do you know who's right for you? So you need to look at their past work. You need to make sure their style aligns. You need to make sure they know your product category. So for Rita and Sadie, who's doing dog wear, I think it's amazing we have 2 dog wear in this group. If you need to maybe find someone who has experience in that area before, because it will make it a lot easier and they can feedback to you, because as a designer, it's our job to feedback and question things and give you ideas that you might not have thought about, because we have done this before. So those kind of things is what you look for in a designer. But one of the things that I'm really going to challenge you to look at is, since you were here on Monday or watching the replay, you now know what's really important for a startup to include in their design tech packs. So make sure you look for those things in their portfolio so you know you find the right one. And then one of the last points that's super important when you outsource whatever you're outsourcing, it's to set up clear communications, boundaries, timelines, talk about budget. Be very clear with whatever you're expecting so that they know what they're supposed to meet, and also can tell you if they can meet it within that timeline or within that budget, or you can't get exactly everything you want because your budget's small. You need to know, and they need to know. It needs to be a clear communication around that, because otherwise you might get something that you're not happy with, or the designer feels let down because they're working too many hours for too little money. So to find that relationship, make sure you communicate clear. So at this point, you might think, okay, get it, Annette. You've hammered this down now. Tech pack and size specs. Okay, what else do I need to send? Or what else can I do? Like, I want my samples to be perfect. So you can send other things, of course. And clarity, what you're looking for is clarity. So you want to like send swatches, for example. You can create swatch, like some swatch kits, and then grab a good swatch and send. If you have the right fabric, you can send, like here, you can send a reference sample because I really love this sleeve. And anything physical, or even anything that kind of shows details that you are looking for. You're looking for buttons. Type this. Okay, I want this type of button. Show them. Photographs work well, but physical things, if it's for something that has a weight or a shimmer or all of this, you can send this, okay? And I worked with a client called Emma, and Emma had an amazing collection, but she didn't even she didn't even want to approach manufacturers because she felt really overwhelmed and scared. And her thinking was, okay, I'm a startup. They're not going to want to work with me. Like, what's the point? But that's not true, because what they are looking for when you approach them as a startup brand is that you understand what you're doing, you know what you want, and you are sure. If you come in and you give them all the freedom, or you can't explain, they have to guess. And if they're guessing, the result won't be good. They won't be happy because they will be frustrated. You will be frustrated because it doesn't look like you want it to look. So they do want to work with you. So Emma, when she had put together swatches, and she actually went out and she really gathered the information she needed, and she sent that with her design tech packs. And then she felt so much better. She had so much more clarity in what she wanted, because it helped her herself as well express herself. So I do recommend doing that, and that is the other step you can do in order to communicate. Like, you're communicating and you're trying to build a relationship. And in all relationships, like whether it's personal or it's business like this, or passion, it's about communications. We need to be clear with what we want, what we require, and what makes us happy or not happy. So with this, like, if you take this on board and you learn this, you literally, like I said, you're only a fashion production run away from launching this brand. And remember the feeling we talked about in the beginning, the overjoy and the happiness. So you can do this, right? And now I want to also, just as a little extra bonus today, I just want to also, whoops, sorry, I need to remove this picture to show you this one. Also just want to say that it's not a full information about fabric or anything, but if you're interested in sustainability, which obviously there's a lot of sustainability in fabrics, and that's the area that people think about most, but there is very many other social aspects to sustainability too, but I'm not going to go into that today. But if you're interested, there's 2 free PDFs on my website, and the link is there. You can just go to my fashiondesigntribe.com website, and you'll can find it on the free resources too. So that was just a little extra bonus for you, so that you can go and get that if you want to learn a little bit about certifications for different fabrics and for manufacturing. And also there is ways to get sustainable, for example, cotton, without going all the way and having all the expenses in that second PDF you can see there. So the manufacturer doesn't expect you to be an expert, right? They just need a good starting point. So when you provide all this, you will be ahead of most startups. Trust me, okay? So when you communicate this to a manufacturer, you will be ahead. And I'm going to take a minute because I see the chat has gone here as well. So I want to see what I missed. I'm curious. Let me go up a little bit and just see. Sadie says her dog clothes need to be cute and functioning. Very true. And here we have Anna Kay said she thinks it's hard to find suitable designers. I think now when you have this knowledge, it's going to be much easier because you just need to narrow down in your own mind what it is you need. What do you need to be included in your design tech packs, or what sizes are you going to do? And also narrow down your customer. When you gather this information, you can write up a brief, and just when you approach your designer, like you approach anyone with the relationship, approach them gently, but also very clearly from the beginning, just as you would speak to a factory about this, speak to your designer in the same way. This is what I need, this is what I require, and is this something you supply? And if so, like, can we work together? What are the costs? Okay, and then I'm just going to see if there was anything else. Yes, and Karen says joining networking groups to find like-minded people to help. Yeah, that's a good way to find people, absolutely. So also, like, keep chatting in the Facebook group, because you guys have this in common, so you might be able to share this experience. And I will say that fashion in the olden days, when I started, was a very closed world. It was a lot of not wanting to share. You didn't want to share your manufacturer, didn't want to share your designer, because everyone was so afraid that they would lose it. But that's not the case, right? We are all here to help each other. We will all succeed. And it's such a joy. I mean, I'm in so many entrepreneurial groups and support groups and masterminds, and it is so fine. It's such a happy, exciting feeling to see other people succeed and help them also on the journey. So definitely network, and you have a Facebook group. Like, if you need something, ask there. I'm sure you have connection points where you can help each other. Okay. And now I'm gonna soon wrap up. So we are going to wrap up, but I want you to again just think about, like, where you will be in like 3 to 6 months. I mean, it depends on your journey, but have you completed all of this? Have you completed your documents? Have you found a manufacturer? Are you getting ready for sampling? Have you maybe already done your samples? So if wherever you are in 6 months, just keep that in mind, and keep in mind how much you've grown just by joining today, and how much you can keep growing. And then there was one more thing that I thought was very important I needed to say. But yeah, just remember that by being here, you are acting, you're committing. And I want you, this is where I really want, this is what I want. I want you to commit to whether you're outsourcing or whether you do this yourself. But are you committing to not just doing this? You don't have to do it. I'm not going to commit you that far. I'm hoping you're all going to go and get that. But are you committing to understand, to like really understand how these documents work? Put a yes in the chat. Many yeses. Maybe put a heart. Let's see if there's anyone here who's willing to commit, to understand, to taking the step of really understanding this, so that you can communicate, whether it is with the factory or your designer. Yes, Carolina says yes. Yay! I cheer you on. That's so amazing. Commitment, like think of that feeling. Oh, Karen says yes too. Yay! It's such a good feeling, all right? Come on, everyone. Give us a big yes. Absolutely, Sadie. Oh, good. Oh, that's so good. I'm so happy. So everyone, I hope everyone who's listening, whether you're here live or watching the replay, that you are shouting out a big yes, okay? So don't let fear hold you back. Like, you're here, you're taking the first step, and I see you doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. Oh, here to learn and commit, Cornelia. Oh, great. That is so good. Oh, I'm on my way already, Karen says. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I mean, you're doing it, Anna K. Yes, you're doing it. Come on. So good. Yeah, I see you. I see you doing it, and I appreciate you doing it. It's great. Just need to stop procrastinating. Yeah, exactly. That's why we're here. You already stopped. So come on. I'm here to cheer you on. Okay. So think of this journey, like this whole journey of yours from today to having your launch. Like, think of it as planting a seed, right? You right now, you have a concept, you have an idea, and that's your little baby seed. But when you nurture it, and I'm here to help you nurture it, like I'm here again on Friday. So I'm here to help you get structure and nurture this little seed so that you can feel comfortable and feel ready and see how it grows every step of the way. The more you nurture and the more you water, the more you're going to flower. And the flower is your launch. Oh, and Anne says, I don't feel alone. Great being this group. Oh, we're very happy to have you, Anne. I'm very, very glad you're here with us. So this is just the beginning for you guys. So you are on the step, and you are on the right steps. So just keep going. This is going to be great, and you are going to get that flower flowering. So your next step could be joining on Friday again, because on Friday we are going to meet again, and then we're going to talk about how to communicate and how to start our sampling. And the exciting part here is that if you show up live, which I think we've had great session today with everyone interacting and so many being here, and if you join in, you're gonna get an amazing bonus like next time. It's super, okay? And that is a list of 10 databases where you can find factories and other suppliers. So don't miss that session, okay? Oh, and I just see in the chat that Sadie is saying, can't wait to launch. That's just awesome. Super awesome. Sadie, go you. So keep working, keep growing, and keep going. And now I just want to ask you one more question, and that is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how confident do you feel today to take this next step? And Karen, don't rush, you're going to get your bonus. How are you, how confident are you to take the next step in mastering this knowledge of these documents from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I feel very confident? Put it in the chat. We get any number. Oh, a list of suppliers. I need this, says Anna. Yes, it's great. I'm going to see you on Friday, I hear. Oh, Carolina, an 8. Yay, 7. Wow, great. I'm so happy. We're getting there, guys. Anne says, thank you. Thank you, Anne, for being here. So I also want to just say that if you are wanting to interact, Astrid just saying a 3, but a 3 is still a step in the right direction. And Cornelia says a 2. Well, as 2 and 3 are still steps in the right direction. It just means that you need to commit, okay? Commit today to learning more. The information is out here, and I'm coming back on Friday. So come back on Friday, and I will guide you further and deeper, and you will feel more confident, okay? So on that note, we're going to give you your bonus. So bear with me to find the link. And here we go. Here's the link. I will also paste it in. If you give me a second, I'm going to paste it in the chat too. And Astrid is saying tiny steps for me right now. And tiny steps are steps, guys. I think you might have to paste it from the chat. Copy paste. I'm not sure if it's clickable, but yeah, Astrid, small steps are great because it's the start. If we don't start, we will never get the action. Like I said before, a great entrepreneur acts despite fear, and that's where you are. So my last thing before we finish off is to see if there's any questions. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, I will stay here for a few minutes. So you can pop them in and I will answer them, and I will stay and watch the chat for a little bit. But I want to say thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you, and it's been super fun, and I'm so looking forward to seeing you all again, and I hope you all join me live on Friday. So Friday, same time. And yeah, put your comments in the chat if you have anything, any comments or any questions that have popped up. Oh, there was one question further up. I can't now remember who it was from. You can tell me who it was from actually, about how long it takes to make samples. And this is very, it's a quite a broad scale. It depends on how you make samples and where you make samples. If you make samples by hiring a seamstress, a tailor, a pattern cutter, you will have to negotiate with them, and that will all depend on their workload. If you go to factories in different areas of the world, it takes a different amount of times, and different factories also take different amounts of times. Asia is a lot faster than Europe. So that is one question that definitely should be in your communication with your factory. Okay, there's no further questions. If you have a further question, just like this is your chance. I'm gonna leave the chat for 2 more minutes. Let's see here. Here we come. Cornelia has a question. How many manufacturers we need to contact just for a sample? Well, I'm gonna say, Cornelia, this is gonna depend on where you have found your manufacturers, and I do have a resource on my website where you can get help into finding manufacturers. But yeah, it depends on how you find them, because if it's, say, through your network, if you network in the Facebook group, it might be less because you might get responses faster. If you go to a site like Alibaba, you are going to have a lot more weeding through manufacturers to do. So I would definitely say that you should always contact more than one in any case, because you want to compare what they can do and offer you, and maybe prices and minimums and all of this. When I work with my clients and I source manufacturers for them, I usually, it kind of depends, but give them the option of 2 to 3 suppliers, which I've narrowed down before I do offer it to them. But I will talk to, in general, 5 to 3. It depends on how many. If I'm searching for something new that I haven't done, or I don't have an established contact, then I might contact a few more, or I might contact factories over a few weeks in a few stages to see which ones I get reply from, and if I get something that I don't feel comfortable with, I will continue. But I would say that calculate some time for this. Don't just rush in, take the first factory and just go for it, and don't do your due diligence. If I don't work with people I already know, I like to give myself a month to research, go back and forth, and so forth. Okay. Yes, but I would say before you send your tech pack, I think it's actually also in that that I was talking about on the site, but I would just establish a little bit of a relationship with a few emails, or even better, like a Zoom call, to kind of chat about your requirements and what you're after. I wouldn't, this is the thing, like I wouldn't go, if you're hiring a designer, you will want the vision board and you will want your customer information given to your designer. If you contact a manufacturer, to be honest, they don't want this, they don't need it, it's going to overwhelm them. And that's going to be like one of the no's from them. So just ask them the basic questions of what it is you're after and what it is you're trying to do. Definitely say, hey, I'm a startup, I'm new to this. That's fine. But also make sure you show them you have some kind of knowledge and experience which you've gained today, and also like what goes into the design tech packs and stuff from Monday. And then once you have established that they are kind of at least what you think would be pretty good, then I would send them my tech packs, because then you're already starting to reach out about thinking about what it could cost you and what's a little bit more like that. And then they will ask you, you should ask them what questions they have. Don't forget to ask them. But when you have established that you can work together, they will start asking you the questions. Okay. I hope that was a good answer. And let's see here. So that step can take quite a while then, months, Astrid says. It can go quick and it can take time. I would say, because what you're looking for when you're looking for a manufacturer is a deep relationship and success with your sampling. So I would say take the time, because if you, like in some of the stories where I said some people have bad experiences, and it can be quite hard and daunting when if you can't communicate clear, the factory might not ask questions. It depends on where they are, what type of factory. So if you come across a factory that wouldn't ask questions, and maybe you send them your tech pack, you don't ask any questions, they just make you a product or a sample, and you go, it's nothing what I wanted, then you've wasted all those months anyway. And you're gonna feel disheartened and stressed. So yeah, take your time, do your due diligence. I hope, Astrid, that makes sense. I mean, I can give you an example of a client I worked with for quite a while. A lovely brand and an amazing concept, and knew their customer very well, which was amazing to see. But yeah, before we worked together, because with me we narrowed down to very small minimums, but their first order, when they were like newbies like you guys, they went to China. They didn't sample. They were told like, yes, we can do that, yeah, that's fine. Paid for the production. I mean, they could sell the product. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Like the fit was bad, but the product, it was a workable product, but it wasn't amazing. I mean, the fit, we reworked the fit together, for example, but the factory told them what their minimums were. They were like, okay, yeah, we can sell that, and they were sitting on these style for a very, very long time, because it was too much at that stage of where they were. But the factory said, this is what you need these many, and yeah, like, send us the tech back, we'll send you production. And that is the most people that I work with and come into me as a consultant or into Fashion Design Tribe. That's where most people go, oh, okay, is there more to it? And yes, there is. We'll talk more about that on Friday. So yeah, so join on Friday, Astrid. And with that, unless there's any other questions, I'm going to let you go and enjoy your day, evening, wherever you are. And I really, really appreciate your time and that you've been here today and you stayed to the end. And I hope you enjoyed the bonus. And yeah, I so look forward to seeing you all live on Friday. So I'm going to sign off and I'll see you Friday. And come for the amazing bonus and come for the amazing lesson is what I want to say of learning about communication and like the start of the sampling process. So I will see you then.